Okay, so this is our progress. So the issue is, of course, the ends are still a little bit damaged, so they tend to peel a little bit, and they tend to bother my client, right? So she shortened her nails, which is great, and I have a feeling that once the healthy surface grows out, it's going to be a little bit easier. So we're gonna keep them as short as possible and then see how things go. And also in this video, I had one of our viewers, Amanda, ask me about the e-files, because right now I'm using mostly the jade and I'm using the MR5, but she wanted to know the difference between the two and the sparkle. So we're gonna see. I have two sparkles. One is, I think, Sparkle Plus, and the other one is the original. So in a moment I'm going to talk about it, but now I'm going to just take off the polish and we'll start with the manicure. So the skin around the nails healed really, really well. It's much better looking.
Okay, so they changed their names.
Ah.
So the smaller one is the SR1.
SR1.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the jade, they changed over to be the MR4.
Oh, okay. So you have to write it down on a piece of paper.
This is the SR1. This is the MR2.
Okay, so this
The jade is the MR4, and then we have the MR5, which I don't know why they changed all their names.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. That's why I was a little confused. Okay, so I'm going to just shape the nails and make them really, really short. I have to say they're almost grown out. Almost there. And I get a lot of viewers still commenting that it's very, very bad for you to file back and forth, but that seems to be an old wives' tale. And I'll leave you a link where a scientist explains why. And I also don't find that to be an issue, filing back and forth. So I find if you are filing with a coarse file, so for example, I'll show you. Okay, so if you're filing with a file like this, these are actually quite coarse. The surface, it's going to be a little coarse. So I recommend using the 180, but this 180 is actually quite coarse as well. So it just depends on the material these files are made. So what you can do after you file and they feel a little not very smooth, you can take a buffer block and just go like this. And trust me, this becomes really, really nice and smooth, and it's not going to catch whatsoever. Just beveling the edge, and again, just like this. Okay, so this one still has this much to grow out, so it's gonna take another month. And this is why it's so important to try not to damage the nails, because when they are damaged, it takes months and months to grow out. Usually at least 4 to 5 months, depending on how fast the nails grow and depending on how long the nails are, like how long the nail bed is. Do we have a handle for this one somewhere? Okay. So by the way, I mean, you guys know that I like to work with electric file, but you definitely don't have to use electric file, especially if you're doing your own manicures once a week. You really don't. And if you are taking care of your skin, and the manicures become very, very easy. Actually, if you want, I'll show you, because the skin is so much better. I'll show you on one hand how to use just a cuticle remover and how to, and the other hand I'll do with the electric file. This one is almost grown out as well. You can see there is a little bit of damage here, but other than that, very good. And when it comes to splitting and peeling and fraying, it does not really start because you are filing back and forth. It starts because the surface of the nail is damaged. Because once the nail is not, it's healthy and it's not damaged, it's not going to fray. Okay, and I like to work with very simple tools, just to show you guys that you don't really need anything super fancy, especially if you're doing your own nails. I mean, for me here, I use, for example, these files because I can sanitize them properly, I can disinfect them properly, but you don't have to. So now I'm not pushing back the cuticle. As you can see, I'm pushing back the living skin. There's a big difference, and I'm leaving the cuticle behind. So the white stuff here is cuticle. So I'm moving the living skin out of the way. And that exposes the cuticle. So once the skin is pushed back, moved out of the way, you can see there's a cuticle here, this white cells, these white cells. So it's difficult to kind of scrape them. I mean, you could, but very often people don't know how much pressure to apply and they damage the nail plate. So you have to be careful. So it's easier to actually drop some cuticle remover. So this is Blue Cross. Now I'm not dropping it here because this is skin. I'm dropping it on the cuticle. And a lot of times people say that they don't like the fluid consistency, but it bothered me at the beginning, but then I got used to using it and I like it. So I'm just putting a drop. And now this has to sit for a minute or two. And in the meantime, I'm going to use this. Okay, so this is the SR1. It's a miracle that it still has battery because it's sat here for a while. So I'm going to use it and I'll show you. This one, it does not have the power that the other ones have. So I'm going to use it on, I do like the display, on 9. Okay, so I'm editing this video and I just wanted to say that I had a chance today to work with the other 2 e-files that I used today in the manicure, and you know what, they're both good actually. So I just wanted to mention that because I was saying that the first e-file that I was using, that it's not strong enough for pedicures, but I was doing a pedicure with it and it's fine. So the difference is that the hand piece is a little bit bigger and has a little bit more sound. The other ones are a little bit more quiet. That I have to you know, admit. Other than that, they're all very good e-files, and the nice thing about the first one is that the display is so nice and bright. So honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I had it confused with another e-file, so it's all good. Actually, it's not bad. It slows down when you put pressure, especially when you're removing like gel polish or something like that. But you know what, for natural nails, it's not bad. For pedicures also would not be enough. It's not bad. Okay. So now I'm going to use on the other hand the MR2 on the other hand, on the other nail. This one has a very dim display, so you can't even see it here, almost. Well, in the darkness you can see. All right. This one is not super strong either. It kind of slows down a little bit. It's very similar to the other one. I don't know. So anyway, what I'm doing now is I'm removing the cuticle from the nail plate and smoothing the hard skin just a little bit. I'm not trying to remove dry skin because dry skin cannot be removed by filing it. You have to protect it. Okay, I'm going to another nail. But for natural nails, it definitely works. All of them do. So if you're doing just the natural manicures and not a lot of pedicures, then this is very good. Okay, so this has to be now removed with water. Neutralized. Because otherwise it's very, very alkaline and it can irritate the skin. So for this, let's check how this works. This would work very well if you're doing this on a regular basis. See how nicely the skin cells just lift? I tend to use the wooden stick on clients. Sorry, the wooden stick, the metal one. This works too, especially like I said, if you're doing this on a regular basis, there's not going to be a lot of skin cells there. And the benefit of this tool is that it's very gentle, so you're not gonna scratch your nail. So the only reason why you remove the cuticle, so you remove the cuticle not from underneath the skin, because you don't want to be digging, you know, for gold there, because you can break the seal. You don't want to be breaking the seal. The seal is there to protect the nail when it's growing, but you want to remove the cuticle cells from the nail plate before you are polishing the nails, because if you put polish on those cells, the polish is just going to come off. So this is why you want to remove the cuticle. But if you are not polishing your nails and if you just want to have like normal nice nails, then you can just push back the living skin and don't really worry about the cuticle. You don't really have to. And I always recommend, especially if that skin is a little bit overgrown, to use carousel, and that kind of keeps everything in check. Now, obviously, if you are doing this by yourself, you don't have electric file. So if there are little hard pieces here, you can do this. The e-file for me, because I've been using it for so long, it's much more precise because I don't have to be moving the file. The file does the movement for me, so I can just press down and remove just in that area that I want to. But of course, if you're just doing this yourself, you can do this. And if you're using a lot of daily carousel, then you won't have a lot of that hard skin. So the most important thing is to try to prevent excess of hard skin by using the carousel. And the reason why I recommend carousel, and if you are in Poland, there is a product that's called Haserol with the same ingredients. So the reason why I like it so much is because it not only has urea. Urea is very, very nice and important ingredient, but also has salicylic acid, has 5%. So it has like a really good amount that it's an exfoliant, and it does make a difference over time. It's a chemical exfoliation, which is great because it's very gentle. The thumbs usually here and get a little hardened skin. So there was this little piece That will drive me crazy. And sometimes it can tear. So what I'm going to do, just lift it up a little bit and just snip it just a little bit. All right. So now I'm just gonna use a very, very soft buffer. This is, I think this is 220 or 300. I think it's more like 220. So that's why I smooth it with the hand file. So I'm just going over where the cuticle was just to make sure that that area is nice and smooth, because sometimes there are little pieces of skin that you could miss. So as you can see, I'm not buffing the whole nail plate because we don't want to damage the nails. You can actually go like this with the buffer as well, just to smooth everything and the free edge. At this point, I'm just going to nudge the skin back a little bit. When you keep nudging it every couple of days, actually, I had another very good question. So one of the viewers was saying that she doesn't know how to do this step when she has her nails polished, because she doesn't want to mess up her nail polish. But the thing is, you can still do it, because if the polish is from here down, let's just say, right, because you're never really touching the skin with the polish. So if the polish is from here, you can still, you don't have to be putting cuticle remover, nothing, just nudge the skin back like this, because this way you're training that skin to stay back. And if you're moisturizing and keeping that skin nice and healthy, it's just going to stay there. The key is the skin has to be nice and healthy. Okay, I stopped at this one because I had to remove the cuticle remover. So I missed these two, so I'm going to do it now. And make sure that when I'm doing this, I don't have this angle, I have a flat angle, because you want to make sure that you're making contact with the cuticle, but you're not gouging the nail. This way is way too high. You want to make sure that you're nice and flat with the nail. Going to wipe them with alcohol and do one coat of polish, and we're done. So you know what, guys? I actually show my clients now every time, because people forget, that they don't have to use as much oil. I use it now because I'm gonna mix it with the cream and use it as a hand cream. But when you're doing this yourself, I suggest putting a bottle of oil next to your sink in the bathroom, and after washing your hands, just put 1 drop of oil, and this is all you have to do. And then you can just even dry your hands again. Because very often people think that they need this much oil, and it's just too much and it's greasy, so they don't use anything at all. So if you're a nail technician watching this, I suggest you show your clients how much oil to use. And I'm telling you, they probably will be very surprised. And it's the consistency that makes a difference.